Isaac, what are you building?
A ATV.
ATV, let me see it. Cool. What are you building, Annabelle?
Hot air balloon.
Oh. Yes. Luckily, my mom kept big bins of Legos when I was a kid. If you've ever seen the Lego movie, you'll know my favorite character, retro 80s guy, space guy. We have lots of retro 80s space guys.
Dad, his name is actually Ben. His name is Ben.
Ben? Oh.
Dad, what kind of caterpillar I found?
Yeah, cool. Yep.
Spaceship! Spaceship! Spaceship!
Good job, Mom, saving my Legos. We can make lots of cool ATVs even out of the space stuff. Space stuff still makes cool ATVs, huh? And dirt bikes. Good job, Mom. My kids love to play with Legos. I like it because it shows their God-likeness. That they were created with something inside of them that loves to create, that loves to build things, that loves to take care of little things and loves to take care of their little creation. That's how I play Legos with my kids. I'm on the floor, we're taking little pieces, we're side by side, digging through the box of Legos, looking for inspiration on what we're gonna build next. Often we just get the box out, we don't know what we're gonna build. We just start playing with it. We just start going through, and that's how I do it too. I start looking through this box, these little pieces, and I'll find something and it'll inspire something in me. Like the other day, I saw these little skis and I built a snowmobile. It was fascinating to see for days after that. My kids, when I wasn't around, when I'm at work and they're at home playing Legos just kind of on their own, for days they were building snowmobiles because of the snowmobile that I had built with these little Legos. It was kind of crude, it was not real pretty, but it was kind of functional and cool looking in a kind of a way, and they loved it. They were inspired by it. By that day that I was sitting next to them and I built a snowmobile. They wanted to build snowmobiles after that. You see, my heart was, I just love playing and being next to my kids, and they love seeing and the things that I create, and also they know that they're pretty cool. And in their sense of building Legos, and they don't get how some of the pieces work and how a lot of the parts work together yet. And so they love seeing what I come up with, and they love creating with me. And some of the parts that I make and some of the trucks and the snowmobiles, stuff that I make, they love to take those and then build on top of them. They love doing that. And it's fun for both of us. And it's a lot like what was at the garden. You see, Adam and Eve were walking with God. They were naming animals and who knows what else. I wonder if they were actually maybe creating things with their words. And God was coming along and saying, great idea. Think about this. What if we did that? And creating with them. Just something to think about. Maybe something for a later video. We'll see. But it also got me thinking about God's heart. When they took on that fruit of thinking like God, because they felt like God might be hiding something from them, they decided, I'd like to know everything. And instead of taking inputs from God, instead of taking inspiration from God, I'd rather just start thinking like God instead of thinking with God. But imagine that. Imagine if all they wanted was the little directions. You see, with Legos, you get these things like this, and it shows you how to put the little parts together. You can build this guy right here, right? And then it gives you step by step. And if my kids one day all of a sudden said, Dad, we'd just rather just stick to this instead of building with you, it got me thinking about how today, mankind has gotten pretty good at following directions, following and just building and doing these amazing things on our own, just following the right way to live life. If I follow this business plan, this business model, my business will get to be this big, and then I've made it. I just wonder how that hits God's heart when all along He's right there with us. He's sitting on the floor with us, beside us, just ready to build with us. But we have gotten really good at, and we're pretty proud of, how we can create and build our own ways of doing things. And mankind is really proud of that. There's not a better word for that than they're proud of that. If you allow me to continue to have fun with this analogy of Legos and building and having really clear steps of how to follow and build certain little kingdoms, think about the early church. You see, the early church, when Jesus came and changed everything, in a sense, he said to those who were really good at following the steps, he said, you guys have missed it. You've missed my heart. I just want to be with you and create and do things on this earth with you instead of just how well you follow the steps. I'm actually not that interested in how well you follow the steps. I'm actually more interested in sitting on the floor with you and creating and building things with you. We live in that pride of just figuring things out for ourselves and creating really neat and tidy ways of doing things. Think about all that we miss out on. You see, I think of that analogy with me and my kids and how none of the boxes of Legos that we've ever gotten have ever been able to build a snowmobile. But yet that snowmobile that I created just out of some skis that a guy had and some tracks and things we had from other different sets, that was actually one of the favorite things that my kids have played with in a long time. They would have missed out on that had they stuck to their plans. Had I not been on the floor playing right beside them and showing them a new way of looking at this little pair of skis, they would have missed out on that cool toy. It's the same way with our spiritual sense. You see, when we live in that pride of figuring things out, even if we follow let's say the 10 Commandments perfectly, we miss out on all that God could impart and be a part and show us. Because when we are sticking to that, we're basically saying, God, you're off limits. I don't need you. And he can't move in that place. He literally can't move in that way. He is bound by his sense of love for us and a sense of freedom for letting us be there on our own. He wants us to have that kind of freedom, and he allows for that kind of freedom. And it really only hurts us because we're just missing out on all there is when we connect to the infinite.
Uh-oh. Little Ollie's up from his nap. What are you doing? You like to play with them too, huh? I am from planet Duplo. I'm here to destroy you.
Ollie's here. Time to clean up.